Hello everyone, my name is Kyle Thiem. I'm with the National Weather Service office in Atlanta, and this is your weekly weather briefing for Thursday, July 12th, 2018. For this week, we're expecting pretty much business as usual with typical summertime conditions expected throughout the week. We are looking at a general thunderstorm outlook for most of our forecast area for the next 3 days, which means that we could expect a few isolated severe storms to be possible, but mostly general pop-up convection is what we could be expecting. The best chances for storms are going to be focused on a weak frontal boundary that we're going to see shift from North Georgia into Central Georgia by the weekend, and then lifting northward back into North Georgia by early next week. As far as temperatures go, we are expecting near normal conditions, around 90 degrees for North Georgia for the high temperatures and lower 90s for Central Georgia, with heat indices climbing into the mid 90s to low 100s throughout the week. For the current conditions right now, we're looking at generally around 90 degrees for most of our forecast area, a little bit of upper 80s just north of the Atlanta metro. And already by about 12:30 p.m., we're already seeing some scattered storms start to pop up around the forecast area and expecting that to continue into the afternoon and early evening. As for our forecast through the end of the week, as for today, you can see that weak stationary front that is setting up around North Georgia. That is going to be pushing south into around the Atlanta metro by this afternoon and evening. As for tomorrow, we are expecting the front to back off a little bit as a weak low pressure system organizes around the Tennessee area. But by the weekend, we're going to expect that frontal system to surge towards the south into central Georgia by Saturday, focusing the rain chances around that area. By Sunday, it should transition into a really weak warm frontal system lifting north by Sunday afternoon and evening. As for our convective outlook, we are looking at general thunder across the forecast area, not only for today, but for the next 3 days. But for today, we do actually have a small sliver of marginal risk out there just to the east of Athens. So in general, we're expecting normal convection that we see on a normal summertime day, but with anything that does grow strong to possibly severe, and we could have a few isolated chances of some severe storms out there. We would expect just some gusty winds, some frequent lightning, and some locally heavy rainfall for anywhere where a strong convective storm develops and persists over the same area for a long period of time. So as for the chances of showers and storms throughout the end of this week, we're looking at generally around 50% for the Atlanta metro and for most of North Georgia today. By tomorrow, much of the same with slightly enhanced chances towards east central Georgia. They're around mostly 40 to 50% for most of our forecast area. By the weekend, as that frontal system starts to push towards the southwest, we're looking at rain chances increasing to around 60% for most of our area outside of the far north and far east, where chances will be only slightly smaller. Then by Sunday, we start to back off a little bit, 30 to 50% chances on Sunday, and pretty much a widespread 30 to 50% chances Monday through Wednesday as well. But into this week, for today and Friday, we're looking at highs around 90 for most of the forecast area for both days. By the time we get into Saturday, again, much of the same, highs in the upper 80s or lower 90s, depending on whether you're in North Georgia or Central Georgia. Same for Sunday and the rest of the week as well. As for our heat indices for this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, we're looking at heat indices around 90 to 100 for most of our forecast area. But we are expecting that to increase slightly on Wednesday and Thursday for east central Georgia. Right now, we could be seeing heat indices as high as 105. This would mean a heat advisory could be possible, but it isn't expected at this time. Just something we're going to have to keep an eye out for if the temperatures do increase by the middle of next week, or we start to see a little bit higher humidities come in by middle of next week as well. Right now for our rainfall totals, we're not expecting much, or just a widespread 1 to 2 inches with some locally higher amounts with any strong storms that might develop over an area for a long period of time. But in general, not expecting too much out of the ordinary. As for the tropical outlook, we are monitoring 2 storms right now. You have Tropical Storm Chris, which is off of the Labrador coast, but that's going to be ejecting and moving out towards the east-northeast as the day continues and won't be a threat for our area at all. There is also a disturbance that is just to the northeast of the Bahamas right now. Right now, we're looking at only a 10% development, though, into a tropical system over the next 48 hours. And by that time, it's going to be well off towards the northeast as we see the area where we're expecting that storm to go up towards the New England coast, very similar to the path that Chris took. And by the time it gets out of up towards that area, we shouldn't have any kind of concerns for it. So once again, just business as usual over the next 7 days, just typical summertime conditions, mostly a general thunderstorm outlook, but we could see a few isolated to severe storms possible over the next 7 days. The best chances for precip is going to be focused along a weak frontal boundary that's going to be pushing from North Georgia into Central Georgia by the weekend, and then gradually lifting and dissipating up towards the north by the time we get into the middle of next week. Temperatures are going to be pretty much near normal for this time of year around our area, which is around 90 for North Georgia and the lower 90s in Central Georgia. Heat indices could climb into the low 100s, especially for East Central Georgia there by the middle of next week. And with that, this has been your weekly weather briefing. Thank you all for tuning in. If you all need to get a hold of us, you can find our phone number on the web, or you can go to our webpage, weather.gov/Atlanta, or you can always get a hold of us as well on Twitter or on Facebook. Thank you all for listening.